Good morning, YouTube, and goodbye, Neelix.
She's so bored with us.
So now everybody in the Cybertruck ownership world is getting their own Cybertruck tats.
Do it.
I got a Cybertruck tat. You ready? Yeah, it was healing nicely, but the scratch I got walking along, I need to flex, I guess, so I don't look like all. But yeah,
it's a cyber bite.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, mine's healing nicely. It might leave a little bit of a scar, but I was walking too close to the Tesla. Let's say this stainless steel was that, and I just clipped it just like that.
So I got mesmerized by the where's the beach?
Please.
Where's the beach?
Well, somebody did it much worse on their leg. They got their own little cyber bite or Cybertruck tattoo.
Yes.
Closing the door on an incline, and the lower part of the door got their leg. This is going to be way too graphic to show on the screen, so I'll put the link to where you can see it.
Are we not allowed to show it?
No, you can't. Look, I mean, he's cut open. He's filleted by the Cybertruck.
It's really bad.
He needed stitches.
I didn't think it was going to be this bad because the picture you're allowed to see is with a Band-Aid on it. I'm like, okay, this guy's like making a big deal, trying to get like clickbait for being beat up by a Cybertruck, but no, this is serious.
No, and he says, I still love my truck, even though it caused me to get stitches, just closing the door on an incline and catching my leg. So
it's bad.
But that's not what this video is about. I just thought it was funny. But it is about electric vehicles and repairing them when they are old. This got a lot of waves recently on NPR because somebody called and said, oh, I have this Tesla. It's 10 years old. I love it. Nothing wrong with the car except the battery failed.
Right.
Got quoted to over $20,000 and couldn't fix it, so we had to junk a perfectly good car because of the battery.
Right.
And that is making waves all over the internet, everywhere. Someone telling the story when, well, it's been told before.
Yes.
Right here. Not to toot my own horn too much, but I did that a few years ago with the Car Trek Tesla Model S. The exact same thing happened. I bought it, and about 2-3 weeks after it showed up, somebody probably had done a hard enough reset enough to where whatever this battery module or the little cell issue was popped up a few weeks in, and I had a range of 30 or 50 miles total instead of 200 because something was wrong with the battery, and they didn't want...
Really?
Tesla didn't want you fully charging it and risking some kind of meltdown or fire or something like that. So it was restricted to charge only that 30 or 50 miles, which was pretty much useless.
Yeah.
$20,000 for a battery replacement. I got on my hands and knees and made a video begging for Rich Rebuilds and his EV setup to rebuild the cells on my battery. And he made a video helping me out and going through the process of that. And it blew up for him, but sort of in a bad way.
What do you mean?
So what he would do is take individual cells, replace the bad ones, and then balance out the battery, and it's fixed.
Right.
I've done that with a Prius before as well, which the Prius doesn't have little battery cells necessarily. They're kind of like little bricks in a row, and you kind of line up the bricks. You can sit off somewhere. They'll put good used bricks together, balance them out. You put them in the right order, and your Prius is fixed, at least the second generation Prius. That's what I fixed myself. But for the Tesla, it looks like little AA batteries, little cells, so they replace the bad ones and they balance it all out. And apparently, experts are saying that isn't a good long-term fix.
Okay.
Few months to a year maybe, and then it's just going to do it all over again. People who supercharge their cars all the time, that rapid charging, will wear it out prematurely. I got the car back and then was driving to Colorado, 30, 50 miles of range still showing, and it just bricked, turned off.
You're kidding.
I would charge it,
and
it would fully charge, but anything under 30 miles on the range, I think, was like, don't trust it. It could just die at any time.
Right.
So something wasn't right with it. I sold the car. Nowadays, I don't sell cars with known issues that I know of, or even just like sell it at auction or dump it over, because eventually someone's going to have to deal with that catastrophe. But a few years ago, I mean, I didn't have the money, so I would just trade it in, sell it to CarMax, sell it at a dealer wholesale auction to dump a turd just like everybody else does. And eventually someone's stuck holding the bag on that car. I don't know what happened to it this day, but that's why you can find Teslas all over the place for under 10 grand.
Right, but what are you supposed to do? You're just supposed to completely get a new battery for $20,000.
No, that's the thing. They're junk.
Right.
They are worth less than it costs to replace the battery. This is a car that Elon said originally would never depreciate.
Huh.
You buy a Tesla on my list, they'll just continually be able to upgrade it and it'll never depreciate. Well, no.
Which would be really cool, but it's like your cell phone. You can't just get a new battery. They don't want you to get new batteries. They want you to buy a whole new phone. So is this some marketing ploy to buy new Teslas?
Right.
I don't know.
So 10 years seems to be the mark when they start dropping like flies. And about 10 years ago now is when they really started making EV cars. Priuses were, mid-2000s, so we saw a lot of Priuses die out. But yeah, that's what we need to decide. Do we just become a throwaway society with cars?
Right.
where once it gets that 10 to 15 year mark, 150, 200,000 miles, are we just done? Was that what you would think is a good way to continue?
I think technology needs to evolve eventually, just like computers have and cell phones have. And you have your first generation, the first iPhone, and now iPhone, 15 are we on? That's so much more advanced and so much better.
My first was a 3G. What was your first iPhone? Do you remember?
3G.
The 3G
What's
model.
a 3G?
Well, now we're on 15 or whatever. Mine was the 3G.
What do you mean 3G?
The third generation, 3G.
Oh, the iPhone 3.
Or 3GS, yes.
I don't know what my first iPhone might have been, a 6 or something.
What was your first phone?
But the Nokia brick.
Same. Yes.
Awesome.
Epic. Which those would still work. So whoever makes the Nokia brick with
Right.
those batteries, that's what they put on the cars. We just solved the whole world issues of battery cells. But
So replace
anyway, you were saying
those battery cells with Nokia brick phones.
Yes.
And make sure they're balanced out perfectly.
Exactly.
Is what you're trying
wonderful.
to say.
We just solved one of the world's biggest problems here.
No, we absolutely did not. I don't know if there is a way to solve this problem. Batteries just need to get more evolved quicker. And with all the competition with EVs, it's going to be happening, but it's happening slow.
Right. So batteries could get cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
They could find out a new way to produce batteries that doesn't require rare metals. And I know they're working on that to where battery replacements become a lot more reasonable,
Mm-hmm.
or the way batteries are designed to become a lot more reasonable where, there's not these thousands or hundreds of little cells that could fail and then take out the whole pack, where it's a different kind of setup.
Right.
But in the near term, it is the aftermarket that has come to save us.
Mm-hmm.
So, if, say the engine fails on a car,
Right.
you go to the junkyard, you get a used engine. You go to the dealer and way overpay for a new engine, which nobody does. Or there is the aftermarket,
Right.
remanufactured engines. So Jasper is there to sell you most common engines, transmissions, that kind of thing. What Silver Rose, the Lincoln Town car with a failed transmission, which we'll eventually have to do.
Yes.
So,
But right now, the time to learn to work on these EVs, there's not a lot of people that do. So you can make such good money if you're an EV mechanic. Do you call them mechanics for EVs?
Right.
Because there might be an IT mechanic for EVs. Like that's the next big job that you want to get into.
right. So that's what they were talking about in response to this Tesla person complaining on NPR. "Oh, my Tesla died." Well, less than 10% of mechanics are qualified to work on EVs. And as the market share for EVs increases in the United States, we're selling over 1 million a year, I guess, at this point. I'm not sure if it's 10% yet. Maybe probably not. But as it gets there, there's less qualified people to work on it. But really, as they get older, it is more of a parts replacement
Right.
type of thing. There's not like a repairing an engine because of a leak. It's got a bad alternator. I guess there might be like power inverters and things that would compare, but basically you have the power inverter, the battery, and the drive motors.
Right.
And then I guess all the software and the screens and the HVAC stuff, that's all sort of the same. But it's not really a repair. It's more of like this broke, replace it.
Right, exactly.
So what's the future going to be like?
I don't know, but there's going to be all these dead batteries all over the place, and people are going to start making art with them, abstract art, because there's nothing else you can do with those old batteries.
I don't know. I'm sort of running into it myself with cars because normal internal combustion cars, it's the same issue because they're so complicated now from the 2010s with these highly stressed twin turbo V6s to try and make the same power as a V8 and the electronic complication with them to make them efficient and make them less polluting and all this stuff. It's ruining them to where they're almost impossible to
Right.
repair. So it's a no-win scenario there. I just think all has to have hoopties piled up outside of like, look, I bought this. Oh, I can't fix it. And just put it over there. Because it's getting more and more difficult. So I don't know if there is a winning formula to this because, say Jasper, which is the biggest name in reman engines and transmissions, decides we're going to do reman batteries.
Right.
Cool. So they'll have a battery on the shelf, say for a Tesla Model S,
Right.
that they replaced all the cells, redid everything, send it out to you, send it back. They're enormously large and heavy things.
Right.
So I don't know if that system would work because the shipping would just be monstrous.
Yeah, that would be insane. I guess maybe we just need to go back to horse-drawn carriages. I don't know.
I don't think so.
What is the answer?
I don't know, because then there's also like the Safe Light or the Key Express type things where there's local people that are replacing the windshields, but they're part of a national chain, a national network to where it could work that way as well.
Right.
whatever, somebody needs to figure it out because there's definitely little pop-ups here and there. And actually this person on NPR with that Tesla, they did call to try and get their Tesla fixed at one of these, rebuilders or whatever. Right. Who knows if it actually works long term? I don't know firsthand, but a lot of people say it doesn't. They're booked up for over a year, this one shop that they called, to get their Tesla fixed rather than the Tesla factory battery replacement. Right. So they're backed up forever, which means people are willing to sit and wait for a year to get this car fixed because obviously it's something they paid a lot of money for, and then just all of a sudden, like that, it's bricked. Which
is insane. But I feel like, working on an engine is one thing, but replacing batteries, and if you do it incorrectly, shorting out the whatever acid is involved in, I don't know if there is anymore, but it could be really dangerous really quick. So you have to have somebody that actually really knows what they're doing if they are replacing these batteries.
Yes, and the sheer weight of it, just dropping these things out from the bottom on a Tesla at least, and they have a special lift to drop it out, but it would more or less pancake somebody if it was dropped. So I guess an engine could too, and same with cars being on jack stands. But yeah, it is very dangerous. So dangerous, very wasteful to just throw away a car, obviously, but now newer cars, as complicated as they are, sort of the same. The government's sort of pushing us towards all of this, but it does seem like environmentally it is very wasteful. So I don't know.
Right, but so are junkyards filled up with cars. That's very wasteful as well. We sound like super boomers, like, it's dangerous. What are we going to do with this? Recycling what? No.
Yes.
But there is no answer yet.
We have lots of questions and no answers. Thank you so much for watching.
So what's worse, that or a viper bite?
A viper bite? Yeah.
Or a Tesla.
That is like a viper bite. You're right. The side pipes on the viper would burn your thighs, or in my case, because I was leaned over trying to fix something one time with the pedal coming loose, it gave me a tramp stamp back there. So
no, it did
not. The Tesla bite is the new viper bite. Exactly. Yeah, that's a really bad one.
That's ill. Yeah,
that's fair. Ready?